David Touchton. David Touchton's, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, one of the only really true country artists in Austin, Texas. So just a bunch of fantastic songs he's written. How you been doing, man?
About as good as can be given the situation, I reckon, man.
Yes, sir. So take me back to like March 17th, the day they closed the bars down. Do you have a show lined up that day, or?
I don't remember specifically if I had a show lined up that day, but I know that I had shows booked through, through the summertime, pretty much,
Right.
And when everything started closing down, I realized that, at first it's like, well, March is shot. Let's see about April, and then April was shot, and then we got to May, and then May is shot too. So I'm hoping that maybe June will show something different.
Yeah. So you've been doing a lot of writing over this time? You've been doing your live streams every Saturday.
Yeah, I've been doing the streams on Saturdays. I initially started that just to try to keep myself from going nuts from not playing,
Sure.
And I had a lot more people tune into that than I expected. It was good. The only thing that I thought was bad about it was not being able to see people.
Yeah, I was telling a friend of mine that we should make everybody sign into like one of these Zoom things where we could watch them while they watch our performance. You know what I mean?
I think that'd be a lot more interesting, man.
Then you'd have the engagement, because that is the tough part, I think, for artists doing the live streams. Is it's different. It's fun, but it's different.
Yeah. As far as writing, I've got a handful of songs that I've kind of started on, and I think I've always had a thing for writing sad songs, but everything that I've been writing during this has been sad. I haven't found like a silver lining to write about, I guess.
And maybe that'll come, but right now I feel you on that.
It could, I haven't given up on it yet, and I'm not giving up on these songs that I've started yet either.
No.
Sometimes it's nice it helps to put a song down and come back to it later on. But on top of that, I've started, kind of trying my hand at writing other things too. Like I've had a handful of short stories that I've wanted to write, and I've kind of started in on that kind of thing, which I'd never really done before.
That's awesome. Like what type of short stories? Like fictional or?
Yeah, it's all fiction stuff that I got an idea for and just kind of ran with it,
Was it stuff that like maybe in the past you've written as songs that now you're going to say, well, instead of writing this as a song, I'm going to write it as the full story of?
No, it's not really tied in with each other.
It's two separate outlets.
Yeah, not saying that I couldn't write a song later on about that ties in with the stories that I'm writing right now. But for right now, they really have nothing to do with each other.
For sure. And that's cool too. So now, basically, today the bar's reopening. Do you have any shows lined up?
Well, I've got, see, yeah, I actually got contacted yesterday about a place up in Marble Falls that I played, a few times last year. And they want me to come out there and play a show. One of my regular spots that I've played for years now at the Brass Tap up in Round Rock, they're opening up this Friday, and they want us to come out and play Saturday. And Desert Door Distillery out in Driftwood, I'm playing there a real early show on Saturday. My only stipulation for things right now is that I don't want to do anything inside.
Makes sense.
As long as it's out in the open air, I've never really gotten that close to people aside from like shaking hands and whatnot, maybe. So, I don't think that the social distancing thing will be a problem for me.
For sure. Just a bunch of outside gigs where there's a lot more room and stuff like that to where, really you're not even having to worry about any of the stuff that a lot of people are worried about.
Yeah. And from what I understand, the places that are doing these outdoor gigs are, they're making sure that their tables are spaced far enough apart from. They're only allowing so many people to sit at the tables, and I think it's about as safe as we can be. Like personally, I don't have a choice but to go back to playing. I don't have another source of income, so these last couple of months have been worrisome for me with getting by financially. But it's been okay. But I couldn't let it go on too much longer without going back to doing what I do.
Definitely. Well, and then I think just speaking for myself from like a mental health standpoint, like there's something different about playing live and the release it gives you.
Yeah, like I was saying, I've enjoyed my live streams that I've done, but it is lacking the interaction with a crowd, with other people. It's fun, but it's not the same.
Do you plan on like sort of continuing some kind of live stream thing throughout this time, or?
A lot of people have asked me if I was going to do, because there's a lot of people that for whatever reason they're fans of mine. They don't live in Austin or anywhere in Texas even,
Right.
and I've got people that have been listening to me from over in Europe and whatnot, and I haven't made it over there, and people have been asking me if I was going to continue this in some regard. I think I will. I just may have to change I'll have to change the day probably, because I won't be able to do it on Saturday nights anymore.
Probably not. No.
But sometime during the week, and maybe an earlier show too.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, and I think it's been beneficial to me, and it's just another outlet that I've discovered. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's an outlet that all of us have discovered, and
Definitely.
not something I want to give up.
Yeah, definitely. If you could have anything change or any kind of awareness change as things go back, like what would you want out of it?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I kind of want to see is more direct communication between the artists and the venues, the management or the bookers or whoever it is that's booking their live music. Instead of going through any kind of third party, I think that the artist and the venue need to interact more. I think that'll go a long way towards alleviating some of the problems that we had before this.
I agree.
I've already seen, people saying that they miss live music so much. People that are fans of live music, people have been watching the live streams for everybody, but people are already itching to get back out and go to venues and sit and listen to it live. And I'm hoping that that's something that people don't forget about. That's one thing that ought to be taken from all of this is how important.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's easy, in the time before now to get caught up in this, like, because Austin's such a big music town and you can walk around on 6th Street or anywhere in that downtown area and hit like 5 bands in one night. And I think sometimes it gets lost in the fact of like finding somebody and really being into that show instead of just jumping around, really appreciating the music.
Yeah.
Because I know you're pressed for time. I know you're fixing to go play a show right now. Just how can people find you and how can people support you? Either shows you got lined up or your merchandise or streams or anything like that?
Well, I've got, the best place to find out anything about me, I guess, is my website, which is davidtouchtonmusic.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram under David Touchton Music. As far as merch, I've got a shop, an online shop on the website. I always post my shows on multiple different websites or platforms. There's bands in town, and of course, Facebook and Instagram, and everything always gets posted on my website. That's probably the best place to look at my calendar as a whole, is the website there.
Probably the best place for really anybody to support any of the artists that we're talking to is just to go directly to the source.
Yeah, I think every artist, ought to take a little bit of time to just create that personal page where, you've got a little bit of a bio of yourself. You've got music that people can listen to. You got maybe some videos. You got places where people can buy your music. And that keeps it from, once again, going through any kind of third parties, just dealing with people directly, I think, is the way to go, man.
For sure. Man, I really appreciate you agreeing to do this. You're somebody that I have an immense amount of respect for. Definitely have been watching your live streams and everything, and true appreciation of what you're doing, whether it was before all this stuff or during all this stuff. So thanks for doing this, man.
Well, thank you very much for asking me.
Hey, I just want to say on that one part you was talking about, people are itching to get back. I know myself personally, being the native that I am, it's super weird not to have that interaction and that music scene directly in front of you. And myself, I'm itching to get back and see that live show and can't wait. And I'm, pushing to say that I think I'm speaking for most on just wanting to get the sound and collection of that music directly in front of you.
That's a good thing to hear, man, because it's one thing to be to tune in and listen to somebody's live stream, but I don't think you're ever going to capture the feeling and the emotion and just the vibe and the tone that you get from watching somebody like being there at one of their shows.
I saw David Touchton a while back with his band. I was playing kind of right before them, and man, that band is freaking solid. So if y'all haven't seen him, like, make time to do that out of your schedule. If you go see one show, go see his show. Appreciate you, man. Well, we'll let you get to doing what you're doing, but thanks again so much for getting on this, man. I appreciate you.
Thank y'all very much, and I look forward to seeing y'all out and about pretty soon, man. Y'all take care.
Too.
Adios, man.
Take care. What's up, guys? Sean from Bar Austin.